This posh brick of a camera baffles me completely. Hi, I'm Joe, and here's another budget camera review, this time of the Canon Powershot S70. We'll have a summary of the device, some sample photos to demonstrate its capabilities, and then a discussion of how it feels to use. I have some mixed feelings about this camera, but first let's admire it as an object. What a chunky, solidly built camera with delightful chrome accents, with full manual controls and raw image support. The Powershot line provides substantially more creative control than your average pocket camera. For its size, it's a heavy device, hewn from metal, and quite obviously intended to resist the knocks and shocks experienced by travelling photographers. Basically, it feels expensive, and it was, retailing at roughly £400 when new. This example is nearly 20 years old, and it stood the test of time with barely a dental scratch. Now, let's look at some photos. Released in 2004, the Powershot S70 has an unusually large 1/1.8 inch 7 megapixel CCD sensor, with a wide-angle lens and a pretty good zoom capability. As you'd expect from Canon, colours are pretty good. Even in predominantly grey shots like this one, colours are warm, the depth of field is luxurious, and the lens is sharp. There's good contrast, and warm but not unnatural colour reproduction. Saying that, looking at the sky in this photo, the dynamic range just isn't there compared to cameras that are even a couple of years younger. As with this landscape shot, the clouds are blown out and the autofocus has lost some detail in the distance, which leads me to some thoughts about the focus in general, where it struggles to keep up with moving targets like my cat. But when she does slow down, the resultant photo is crisp and bright. Saying that, if you play around long enough, you can trick the camera into more creative focusing, as with this photo where a restaurant is hiding behind a wall of foliage. Where the camera does appear to excel is in macro mode, with adequate detail and colour reproduction, allowing you to explore miniature wooden worlds in winter. In low light, there's surprisingly little noise at daybreak, possibly thanks to that larger sensor. Although, sadly, the tint of the sunrise appears to be largely missing. Trust me, this was a stunning morning. As for video, well, there is some. And you could use it creatively for short clips, but the only truly usable resolution of 640 by 480 limits you to 10 frames per second. Jump forward in time by a year or two, and many cameras gave you excellent 720p video thanks to the adoption of SD cards. For a great CCD camera with basic HD video, see my last review of the Panasonic Lumix TZ7. And now on to some general thoughts about usability. To switch on the camera, first you slide open the lens cover and the zoom lens obligingly extends. The screen switches on and the system is ready to shoot in around 4 to 5 seconds. It's a satisfying procedure, but many equivalent point and shoot cameras will be ready to shoot in 2 seconds or less. If you must capture that special moment before it's gone, this frankly isn't the camera for you. The focus modes, though, baffle me completely. I'm sure there's someone out there who'll be able to master them, but as part of a collection of cameras, I find myself preferring to pack my DSLR despite its greater size. Similarly, the shutter speed and ISO settings can all be configured by using the directional pad in different modes. But I find this extremely unintuitive. If this is your only camera and you're prepared to put in the time to memorize it all, I'm sure you can get great results, like really great results. I mean, look up sample photos taken by this camera on Flickr and you can see that there are definitely patient photographers who have indeed mastered the settings. The viewfinder is so small and eye strain inducing that I find myself preferring to shoot using the LCD screen, but the 1.8 inch screen is too small to be able to assess whether your compositions are fully in focus. This gives you the experience of an old film camera, which some people might like, where you will only really know how your photos have turned out after you get home and transfer your files. Also be aware that the camera storage utilises a slow, compact flash card, and you can hook the camera up to a computer using a USB cable, but please be aware that if you're a Mac user, in their infinite wisdom, Apple have long since removed support for USB 1 devices, so you'll need a USB 2 hub to connect to the camera, or like me, have an embarrassing array of ancient computers. If you're on Windows, you should be fine. So what's my overall impression of the Powershot S70? I said at the top of the review that it baffles me, and basically that remains my conclusion. I love it, and it frustrates me in equal measure. The image quality, when you get a good shot, is great, but the camera is a lot less idiot-proof than many more seemingly complex DSLRs. By cramming in so much functionality into a small package, Canon created a fantastically capable and exceptionally well-built machine, but with some significant usability problems. If you're not a fumbling idiot like me, you may well enjoy using it, since you can currently pick up a great example like this one for as little as £60 or £70 on eBay. I think you should still consider it, based on its capabilities and robust build. For myself, I enjoy it as an object, and I admire what it can do, but my ham-fisted monkey hands basically struggle to use the thing. The camera makes me feel inadequate, and I'm not sure I need to be so often reminded of my own inadequacy. Thank you for watching this review of the Canon Powershot S70. Please remember to like and subscribe for more creative content. In my next video, I'll be making a short film using a wide selection of very cheap video cameras. Definitely a fun project. Go well, and happy snapping.